What is wrong with trail running media? What is wrong with FKT coverage? Are you sick of top 10 lists yet? And influencers, how are they impacting everything else? Are we missing the real stories that should inspire people? Well, today on the podcast, I have Allison Mercer back for more. After a successful month of Jeff, we're getting right to the heart of the issue. New year, same us. Let's go. This is a fun conversation. We hit on everything from FKT coverage, how all talking heads have these opinions, but they feel very biased, jaded, and maybe influenced by friendships, paid advertising, or marketing more than actually what they think are true opinions anymore. Are we right? I don't know, but listen and find out what we say. It's a good conversation. We also get into World Cross Country Championships, which Allison is going to down in Tallahassee this weekend. So she's our expert on the ground for the Free Outside podcast. Thank you for listening. I'm fresh off winning FKT of the year, and New Year, same me as well. Nothing new around here. Thank you for listening. We also talk about how Allison was slotted to race for Team USA at the 50K championships in India, but it was canceled 1 week before the race because of smog, air quality in general, and the Indian government said no outdoor events could be held. It's a pretty tragic and messy story that really leaves a lot to be desired. We hit on Burrito League, of which we're starting one here in Bozeman, and look around. Maybe there's one where you live and maybe you can win free burritos. So listen to the episode. We really appreciate those 5-star reviews. You can leave a comment or review as long as it's nice, because we try to be kind of nice on here. And I hope you guys are doing good. If you want to subscribe to Substack, hopefully by the time this comes out, I have put out another Substack. I'm going to try to get in the habit of doing that more, but I've gotten very busy in the new year. We'll be announcing some more things in the future. So thanks for joining. Smash that subscribe button. We are on YouTube as well. And from what I've heard from a number of people, dogs do love listening to us in the background. So if you can't stand to watch, maybe your dog or cat can, and pump up those views and that watch time. All right, here is the episode with Allison Mercer. The Free Outside Show is back with our correspondent on everything, Allison Mercer here. So what's new? What's coming up?
Hey, new year, same old us. But
Yep.
Unlike other podcasts or people, we talk about things that are actually happening now and this weekend. Not 5 months from now. What is going on this weekend? And you know what? Guess what? We're back to racing. So enough with the winter break. Happy holidays, whatever. No, let's talk about some racing.
You don't want to do a Javelina 100 preview podcast?
I mean, as tempting as that sounds, and they did sell out. Props to Jamil, as always, the Burrito local legend, right?
Yeah.
Is that what we're calling him now?
The Burrito League. The Burrito League founder or something like that. The president of burritos.
We'll come up with some good B title. Anyways, there are like a million races going on this weekend. You have Bandera with Molly Seidel making her triumphant trail, I would say debut, but she's already done some trail races. You have Houston Marathon, so we'll have that OTQ watch. We have a Valencia 10K, which will be fast because that's Valencia. But my favorite, your favorite, is the World Cross Country Championships in lovely, majestic Tallahassee, Florida.
Yeah, it's known for the majestic running, the cross country out there. And okay, first, I wrote down actually a lot of notes this morning. What get us interested? Why should we all care about cross country? And I think it's on Peacock, right? So it's like actually easy to watch this year.
Right? Like we actually know where it's going to be televised, what time, what channels. So if you have regular cable TV or you stream on Peacock, you can watch starting at, I believe, 9:30 Eastern time, a.m. So it gets started with the mixed relay team. So you have 2 men, 2 women running a 2K on this course. And you have, I believe, 15 teams, which includes for the US, Ethan Strand, who is a UNC powerhouse, now running for Nike, and Sage Herder-Klecker with OAC, and Gracie Morris with Puma. You also have Wes Porter, who runs for Under Armour. So it's a stacked US team. Australia also has the fan favorite of Ollie Hoare, Jess Hall, Lyndon Hall, and I believe Jack Ansey. So there's a lot of names and a lot of talented pros that are going to be in that mixed relay team. And then you have the under 20, which, is fun, but the main is the senior race. So I'm really excited for that, both the men and women. First, like, the US men is so stacked. And I say that a lot, but I mean, you watch the US champs, you saw, like, you have Olympians like Graham Blanks, Nico Young. You have my favorite name, Rocky Hansen.
He's my favorite runner. Wake Forest, let's go. And to jump in, why people should care and why I think cross country's fun, we joked about it like 3 months ago, is because there's like tactics in racing. It's like every 4 years you get into swimming in the Olympics because of the racing and the rivalries. And it's like, it's like, a 30-minute race or something, and it's not a ton of time, but it's like people racing for their countries. There's a point system. You're trying to win on a stage bigger than just a one-off race. And the tactics are really fun because it's not just like racing an oval and fitness always wins. It's how are you going to race? And we got to see that a lot at nationals too.
Yeah, and it's going to be up to the 70s. So if you haven't been doing your sauna heat training, you might be in for a rude awakening, especially because the senior race isn't until like 11 or noon Eastern. Also, they've kind of, I don't know if you would call it a Spartan race or kind of obstacle racing, where they have sand pits, they have kind of like almost a pond, they have alligators, not real ones, but like statue alligators. They have a ramp to kind of, have some fun with the course. Besides it being a typical cross country course where you have ups, downs, all arounds. Like, it's not just a smooth sailing, flat pancake course. You're going to have to be, like you said, strategic about it and not be intimidated by alligators.
Yeah, there's swoops, dupes, there's swirls, and all kinds of pros.
Yeah. So, but along with like the US men, the US women also have a pretty competitive team. Not that they haven't in years past, but the names on this team, all Olympians, Wayne Kaladi, Carissa Schweitzer. You have, like I said, with the men, the young guns of Emily Venters and Grace Hartman. It's going to be very exciting to watch. Of course, the Kenyan, Ugandan, and Ethiopian teams are always going to be strong, especially in distance racing. But I say that the U.S. men and women, now that we're on home soil, have, I guess you could call it, home field advantage.
Yeah, I guess so. I mean, if 70 degrees and humid in Florida is an advantage to be had, we've got it.
Yeah,
So,
I'm
yeah.
personally biased because on the men's team, you have Graham Blanks, who is from Georgia. So, you got to root for your literal hometown hero. So he's used to it all. So he's probably like thriving. He's probably like, make it as hot as possible. Let's pretend it's July.
Yeah. Okay. We have a lot of people who are just getting into cross country. How does team scoring work for cross country for us new people?
So it's all about placement. So I believe with for this, since you have, I believe, 6 people on the team, I believe it's top 4. I could be wrong. I probably should have looked up those basics. I know it depends just based on if it's pro, NCAA, and they also have like club the next day. You have club cross country nationals going on. So you have so many different races going on this weekend in Tallahassee, which is also a lot of fun. So you'll have more fans, which makes for a better event. So yeah, so every place matters. It's not about time. So that's why you're really like counting heads of like sprinting to the finish to make sure, hey, if I pass one person, that's a place that could help me in the team competition. So as much as running can be an individual sport, for cross country, it truly is a team sport.
Yeah. And so, like, a perfect score would be like 8. If you got 1, 2, 3, 4, you just add up the places and low score wins. This episode is all brought to you by Garage Room Gear, garageroomgear.com. They have everything you could need for an adventure, an FKT, an ultra marathon. Do you need to camp out the night before your race? Well, they even got food that you may like, whether it's vegan or otherwise. Check out their selection. What did I buy most recently? Oh, a compass as a gift for someone who's getting into compassing. And that's why the racing is so fun, especially watching the college championship too, is you are just, even if you pass one extra person at the line, even the race between like 20th and 21st place actually matters in the team scoring. And I don't think you get that in a lot of these races where coverage kind of closes down after the first handful of people finish. And the team aspect is the fun thing that we don't get enough of in running too.
Totally. And, it's funny because you always think of everyone as like the enemy, but you really have to help someone along, especially when they're your teammate, if it's taking turns leading or if someone's going out a little too hot, you got to say, all right, temper these expectations. We still have a long ways to go. And also making sure that you have that finishing kick. And both the men's and women's US race, you saw Parker Wolf and Waney have a phenomenal kick that really solidified their win.
Yeah, it's really fun because especially like 10K distance or so, they're like clumped up for half of it. And then you see who has legs and a kick at the very end. And yeah, it's like true racing tactics on someone's trying to push the pace, but sometimes they blow up. Sometimes people can't hold on. Yeah, I've gotten into it and I didn't think I would. We were joking about it just a few months ago and you sent me some races. I watched them and I've been very into it.
Now, did it inspire you during the Montana Cup?
No, I was just trying not to get injured during that, but Missoula always wins. Adam Peterman is too good. It's not fair.
Sometimes you just need to trip him.
Yeah, but I don't think I'm fast enough to get in front of him to trip him. His 5K pace is my sprint, pretty much. All those miles walking have just slowed me down. But I'm transitioning into being a fan these days.
It's the next best thing. I mean, I prefer it.
Yeah. Okay, so we've got World Cross Country, which team sport on Peacock you can watch. We have a lot of things going. We have Burrito League. So it looks like there's an Atlanta Burrito League, and Bozeman is probably getting one off the ground here by the time this comes out too.
Ooh. Now, do you all have a burrito sponsor? We're still working on that.
Oh yeah,
It's
they
the
were
hardest
stoked.
part.
Yeah, Allison, my fiance, is spearheaded that, and they were stoked. And I think it's called Mr. Burritos, and they're ready to $250 split between the men's and women's, I think.
Yeah, we have like a shoe, RD, race sponsorships, like socks. Like we have so many different prizes for Atlanta, but we're still trying to nail down the burrito sponsor. It's just hard to get people to respond, especially because we started the Instagram profile and because there's only a few posts, people probably think it's spam or it probably went into their spam and they probably get so many DMs and so many requests. It's like, no, we're different. We're special. We're doing Strava segments to show how crazy runners truly are by doing a quarter mile segment 1,000 times. Like, no big deal.
It's healthy for us runners, though, to realize that it is a niche and not everyone working at a burrito place knows anything about Strava or segments or Jamil Curry or the Chipotle Challenge or the Burrito League.
But if they don't know, now they know.
Now they know. Yeah. What do you think about this? So for 2 years, it was the Chipotle thing, and now it's being broadened. And I don't know what the whole burrito league will become, but yeah, what do you think about this new thing moving into different cities? Is this Jamil's new plan to take over outside of even races? It's very funny how this just exploded kind of out of nowhere.
I'm just wondering if he knew it was going to be as big as it is, but given how passionate runners are, especially when it comes to burritos, and I mean, fueling is life. Got to get those carbs. So I love it. Like it encourages people to get outside. You can have, you know, nationwide competitions between cities. I'm all about it, and I'm a bit of a Strava whore, so I love a good segment. I love a good challenge. If even though I helped come up with a segment in Atlanta, I probably should have done it that it would be closer to me, so I could just do it all the time. But I try to be better and let it be a popular segment that made more sense.
You gonna try to have the crown on the segment? Even if you can't get local legend, are you gonna be out there doing sprints? Like, I gotta have this in some way.
Oh, maybe I should. I don't know. I was like, it's probably a little biased given that I helped start the league to be like, all right, I want to win it. Probably let someone else have the title.
I think it's really cool too, is like we just talked about cross country, we talk about trail running and marathons too, but they're all like kind of segmented or in their own niche. And this type of challenge brings out everyone from walkers to runners to ultra runners, trail runners, like anything in between. I think that's the cool thing about this is the challenge is like whenever you can do it, you are allowed to do it rather than a race has a set start time. Is it feels so much more accessible to have these types of challenges than just like take the week off work to go run Cocodona. Like immediately a large chunk of people cannot do that.
Right. And it's not like you need a crew to go do this and you need to plan on a certain time. Like you can go out right now and go do the segment for as long as you want. I mean, it probably benefits those people that work remotely or that live like for us on the Beltline, that do that segment every day anyways. But it also probably makes people curious, like, why is this person running back and forth like 100 times? I'm sure last year when Jamil and Kevin Russ were doing it, and literally probably people thought they were probably homeless being out there all the time. I think, didn't their cars almost get towed a couple of times?
Jamil's car did get towed. His employees would drive out to the segment to walk with him to have meetings so he could keep logging segments.
I mean, that's just dedication, and it helped his training. Like he got in really good shape. And, some people, especially the new year, need some encouragement or motivation or just pure pressure. What better way than a Strava challenge?
Yeah, and if it's only like zero point 0.1 distance of a segment, you can just stop or go use the restroom at any time. It's not like you're stuck out there for multiple hours and you're lost. So yeah, it's pretty funny and it just exploded on like, is the Chipotle challenge happening? No, but there's something even bigger. Any city that wants to is now going to have burrito challenges. And maybe it's even mobilizing some cities to have some like organization in their running community and bring people together. So there's a lot of silver linings to this.
Yeah, and I mean, Jamil really didn't have to do any planning or logistics on his own. He kind of probably just let everyone else say, hey, I want to do it in X city. I'll get the X, Y, and Z sponsors. All he does is has a logo and just insert your city here. It's genius.
It's amazing that Jamil will put so much time and effort into getting burritos and he'll just like off the couch hard rock or western states. Like he's just this is what inspires him.
Hey, I mean, he's successful, so more power to him. Clearly, we all need to be more like Jamil.
Yeah, totally. All right, let's move into trail running content, trail running media coverage. What is wrong with this? I mean, so first off, I think it was so interesting to see some of the year-end FKT recaps by every platform seems to put out a different list or who they want. And some felt so biased on who has a big following or a sponsor so that they'll repost some of these graphics. And to start there, that felt really lame and almost like engagement farming where these media places trying to get follows or clicks or listens when a lot of the real stories, if you actually read someone's FKT report, they're a lot longer than like a 3-hour trail run or something.
To be honest, I just want people to be transparent on who's voting for this stuff. Sorry, I'll keep it PC for all the kids. But it just makes no sense to me, especially now that a lot of the countdowns are coming out. I'm just like, who is voting on this and where did they get their information from? Because it is completely different than what I saw unfold in trail running. So I would love to see the data they were given, who's on there, and the reasoning, because a lot of it made no sense to me. And also just the recaps. It's like, yes, you see so much bias. Like, I appreciate, and once again, speaking of bias, with the FKT, we did it on the regional editors because there's no bias. They are literally reviewing things every day. They don't have a certain, particular space that they know more of, maybe in their region, but they're big fans of the sport. They understand what it takes and takes that into consideration. Plus, we're not getting just random people because of who they are. We are getting literally the people that day after day are reviewing FKTs. And you see that in the top 5 that we had. It was so much variety between distance, countries represented, and just how they went about doing it. And I am so proud of that. Once again, hugely biased, but it wasn't just me voting. Like we had, 15 people that have all different backgrounds, cover all different regions, so that everyone has a vote and a consideration into it.
Yeah. And I think it was really good and representative of different lengths, different types of routes, and different people too. Whereas some of the things I think were voted on by one person and they just put out what they thought was interesting. And sometimes it felt like who has been on their show or who they got an interview with. And I mean, I was included in some of those too. So I don't know. It just felt very strange to pick and choose, especially when the ultra running or racing scene dips the toe into the FKT scene once a year at the end of the year and just comes up with something, but they're only exposed to those people who are racing. So they don't even know some of the people who set these massive FKTs because they don't put in the research or the time to know what actually happened out there. And that's a frustrating thing. And the hardest thing on my side is like these communities are sometimes a little distant from each other, but when one side tries to be an expert on the other, you just get bad info and it projects back into the ultra running space that these are the most valuable FKTs or the most talked about, when it's like those didn't even really register with the true regional editors who every single day they're reading trip reports, are reading about FKTs, they're seeing people push their limits. And some of the best ones out there didn't get any recognition in the greater sport for people who don't know anything about the space.
Well, it just becomes an echo chamber when you only rely on certain outlets or it's just on who they're following. And what I love about FKT is it gives those lesser known people an outlet and just to showcase their talents. Like a few years ago, I doubt anyone knew who Jack Kunzel was. But because of his FKTs, I mean, lately he's been doing more like ski-mo and racing, but he didn't set foot on a start line. But because of the FKTs, people know who he is, you know? So I just don't think people give enough respect to FKT athletes.
I totally agree. And I think the thing that's lost is FKTs, you start from zero. A race, you start with a start line, you start with aid stations, you start with like an itinerary or some rules. An FKT, you have guidelines, is even what they're called. So a style that you're doing it, and you can start anytime. And within those guidelines, you can do the trail however you want. If you want to only do one resupply on the Arizona Trail, you can do that. It just offers so much more creativity and catering it to what is best for you, which is my favorite thing and why I gravitate towards that style a lot more. Whereas ultra running is very like regimented. Like, why would you skip an aid station? It's already there. Like, you're going to use it. But people applying that ultra running mindset to FKTs, I think just loses that creative or artistic or stylistic approach that races don't really have. Like, you can wear fake jorts to run an ultra, but that's not like style or creativity. That's just like following what Andy Glaze is doing or something.
Yeah, and like you would say some of the pro runners that attempted FKTs failed. So it's not like, oh, if a pro runner is attempting an FKT, it's an automatic like, oh, FKT of the year. Oh, let's pay attention to it. And some just were boring, maybe easy gets and just part of a training. So it's like, why are you paying attention to this when someone did it unsupported, that literally it's their backyard and they've been training on it for a year? Like, that's more compelling and would have my vote over someone that's a professional that literally is getting paid to do it and has unlimited resources to do it versus the person that's working full time, that is passionate because they grew up on said trail, do trail maintenance on said trail, like has a story behind it. Like, that's truly why we vote for it. And to see other outlets and podcasts like just describe it based on like what their friends are doing or what they hear, usually it's like false information. And sometimes I'm like, should I say something to them? And I don't want to be a total asshole about it, but I'm also like, you're doing your listeners a disservice by not setting the record straight.
Yeah, I love the immersing stories of like someone has through hiked a trail and then they decide they want to go after it and they have this intimate knowledge, or they go out and train on it, and this thing where it's a part of your life rather than just like spending one day, drive out to something, run for 3 or 4 hours, have an FKT and drive back. They're both FKTs, but they're drastically different. And to kind of put this in perspective for maybe more the ultra runners, it's sort of like when people talk about like a 218 marathoner going into Black Canyon or the trails, and it's like they're not automatically just better than everyone. I think FKT athletes kind of get shafted or thrown under the bus a little bit because it is so different. It's not like a one-to-one comparison on you're great at ultras and you're going to be great at FKTs. We've seen time and time again great athletes fail at FKTs because they're totally different. I mean, Courtney DeWalter had problems about 2/3 of the way through the Colorado Trail. It's just a different world, and comparing it straight across to ultra running is such a disservice. We don't compare like Kipchoge to 50K trail times. I think it's just, I don't know, wildly out of bounds, and felt like this year especially people are overreaching on their expertise.
I mean, are they running out of things to talk about where they're just making up storylines like they're Stephen A. Smith and they just want to argue? Like, there's so many things going on, especially in trail and ultra running and road running. Like, I talk a lot and I never have a lack of topics to discuss with people, with you. I feel like every day we're talking about something different. So why are you making up hypotheticals and storylines? Like, some of it makes sense and some of it is like something to think about. But sometimes I'm just like, yeah, you're just stretching for something and overreaching.
Yeah, the echo chamber feels so small compared to how it used to be. It's like we can only talk, some of these podcasts or platforms can only talk about the same like 5 races a year, and they do that year after year. We can only talk about ultra running, and or we can just dip a toe into award season just for some engagement. And I don't know, it's feels like it's worse than ever when there's so many things happening. Like even the Burrito League, which we just talked about, kind of combines all these sports, or cross country. Like you can be a fan of all these things. And that's sort of what I wanted to do when I started the podcast to begin with, is like all of these things can be separate, but also you can be into all of them. Like you can through hike and be a fan of ultra running, or you can participate in it, or you can do FKTs and never do an ultra, but you can acknowledge Cocodona exists and cheer for your fellow through hikers doing them. I think we just operate in these silos that are getting really annoying. And it feels like people keep posting stuff to just, I don't know, put their name out there, when it's like some of these things you're posting aren't even relevant because people are going to get injured or change strategies or race tactics or a race schedule years in advance. It's so stupid.
And it's just, where is the knowledge and the why behind what you're doing? Like, it's just, you get very skeptical. And to be honest, after the whole Sidious Grand Slam thing, I question a lot of the journalism ethics. And I guess for people that don't know, there was Sidious is probably like one of the premier road running, track and field, I thought media coverage, and it found out that they got paid almost $300,000 by Grand Slam to cover Grand Slam. And people were like, oh, that's okay. No, ESPN isn't getting paid by the NFL to cover it. Like, to pay a journalist to cover it, like, there is so much bias behind that. Like, give me a break. So sometimes I'm just very skeptical over what people are covering, if it is just because of a sponsor, because it's their buddy, that's going to be in it. So they're going to hype their friend up, or, maybe because they're getting sponsored by a Nike or some other brand, that they're going to tend to focus on positive storylines for those athletes. Like, you don't know.
Yeah, this is a huge point of contention. And to put it in perspective for anyone who doesn't follow road or track stuff, it would be like if Burrito League paid me a certain amount of money to talk about it, to give it more attention, and that would just be like inorganic media coverage. And it feels like that, where it's like, especially a number of these podcasts in the trail space are like switching sponsors every single year too, or saying the next nutrition brand is the greatest one. And the Sidious story is especially interesting because it kind of came out maybe a month or two after the NBA gambling scandal, where ESPN is showing gambling advertisements while talking about how these players and coaches were arrested for both insider info and rigged gambling, basically. And so it's like playing two sides of the same coin. And then like a Sidious getting paid to cover Grand Slam track, which started up and failed within a year. It's like their name is above gold medalists for how much they're owed just to cover this thing. And I don't know, it feels so wrong. Maybe if one individual is paid to commentate or announce, that's one thing, but a whole media organization being paid $250,000 just to cover something, that does not feel right. And also, man, that's some good money. So if they're looking for revitalizing Grand Slam, we're here.
Right? And that's the thing, is like, there's something about disclosing it. Like, it's clear that John G is a huge partner and sponsors you. Like, no one would ever question that. So it's kind of odd that you wouldn't disclose it, even though you say you did.
This episode is brought to you by John G, JANJI.com. And when you say biased, I mean, I've worked with them for 5 years. I love their stuff. I was using it well before I was sponsored by them, or they sponsored the podcast, and I love their stuff. What am I wearing lately? So it's been abnormally warm here in Montana, but that still means we're getting wind and temperatures in the 30s. So I've been just taking a wind jacket, and it's so light and even has pockets. So a lot of wind jackets I've had don't have pockets. Also, the rain runner for when it's been raining, and the Vortex gloves. That's sort of the kit I wear. And then the 2-in-1 multi shorts, because they have a liner, and when it's cold, want to keep your junk kind of warm. So check their stuff out, Janji.com. Use code FREEOUTSIDE. Tell them I sent you so we can keep this rolling and my income can keep growing.
And then they go and say, oh, but we're not journalists. And it's like, well, Chris Chavez won a journalism award. Like,
yeah,
make it make sense to me.
Yeah, I mean, that's how it feels across the sport, and why we're having this short run Red Rover archives here is because this award season feels so weird and messy. And also, it feels like some of these awards, like FKT of the Year is out, and that was released like probably at the right time, how you're supposed to. Some of these are still on like number 7 or 8 in the countdown. It's like, are we going to be near February by the time we even know who won these things? And are we collecting nominations for next year already by the time we even know who won last year? It's just getting out of hand. And I think there's some fatigue. Like, we don't need a countdown from every small magazine or business or podcaster out there. And also, does everyone even care this much?
Well, it's just like your year in review. Like, Spotify did it, and then Strava did it. And now I feel like everyone and their mother and probably their grandmother and aunt and cousin does a year in review. Like, I don't care. Like, I know what I consume. I'm the one that chose to do it. And like with Strava, like, it's cool, but I don't care that I ran with you 3 times. Like, I know I ran with you 3 times because I was there and it's on Strava. So I just think we get a little too into everyone probably thinking they need to show that they have the ultimate countdown. And what I also wonder is who makes them the expert on it? Like, some of the people that are pontificating on the trail performance of the year, like, what? Like, were you watching something different? Were you watching something different than I was watching? Like, we all see the performances, but what makes your top 10 different than everyone else's? And what makes you the authority to have a countdown? Make it make sense. Maybe that should be the name of our podcast episode.
Make it make sense.
Make it make sense.
I think they called it bagged from McDonald's on my year in review. And because I buy a lot of black coffee from there when I'm traveling, and it was like, your number one item you bought this year was a large black coffee. And it's like, I did not need this. And if anyone's like, you bought 50 cheeseburgers, no one wants to know that from McDonald's. Just stop. We don't want to know that we bought fast food this year. Come on. It's getting out of hand.
Right. And for FKT of the Year, I didn't want to do it like now. Like, people probably would forget, and they're already trying to circle back from everything they put off from 2025. So they're just head down, and people are just on to 2026. Like, let's leave 2025 in 2025. And yeah, is it tough to do things over the holidays? But also, not a lot's going on, so people are paying attention. Like, I wanted a podcast. I needed something to listen to. And now I'm getting inundated with these 2025 countdowns. And I'm like, I don't really care anymore. Like, yeah, I said, I'm looking forward to 2026. We got racing this weekend. Like, I want to pay attention to that.
Yeah, and like, if Carl Sabe is on a countdown, like, he did that basically a year ago. It doesn't even feel like it was recent or relevant anymore. And it is, but it's like, we got to wrap this stuff up by the new year or very shortly thereafter, because the world moves so quick that it's hard to even know what happens each year. And if you're stretching it into the next one, I'm out. And yeah, I don't know. I've just been very bothered by how people are presenting things this year. And maybe it's getting worse, or just maybe I'm getting old and annoyed.
Or can we just collaborate on one and it be the most epic top 10 countdown? And we all agree, like, can we work together? I don't know. People always say about how great the community is and how strong the community is, but yet we're in such silos. Like, let's just work together, people. We're all covering the same thing. We all know each other. We all see our social media. Like, it's okay to say so-and-so and so-and-so collaborated. That way, at least there is, some variety in backgrounds and mindsets and interests so that it's not just people only glowing about the West Coast or only, you know, glamorizing the Northeast. Like, let's just have some, people from all over coming together to talk about it.
Yeah. So the next thing in this vein, it seems like the West Coast bias is getting even deeper. And what I mean is either the route or the race has to be in the West, or the people who get covered live in the West. And it seems like it's getting a little out of hand. And you're an East Coaster. Do you feel the same way about this?
Every damn day. And we talk about it all the time. And, every time I see another countdown, hello, I see more and more East Coasters, and I just smile a little wider. I'm like, see, you don't have to be in Colorado, you don't have to be in Boulder in order to be a pro trail runner or win these races. Like, let's get that out of the way.
Hate this conversation where it's like, where's the trail running mecca or the hub? And it's like, can't it just be people from all over? Not like you have to live in Flagstaff or you're not going to be good. Or it used to be Boulder. It's like, that's not how it works anymore. Everywhere is easy enough to get to. People can come from everywhere. If they want to live and train in West Virginia, because that's where they're comfortable, they should be. But there's like this growing pressure of you have to move out west if you're going to be good. And so many people have done that, but it's getting so out of hand. There's got to be something said for like comfortability or your family around or your friends, rather than blow up your life because Durango or Flagstaff or Boulder has a better running, I don't know, trail system. But it's driving me crazy. Like, yeah, Bozeman is where I want to be. Is it great year round? No, but like, calm down. I don't need to move to Flagstaff to be good at anything.
And also, like, why are people always shocked when someone isn't from Colorado and is doing well at a race? Like, people live all over the place. There are mountains, guess what? Everywhere. Or you can live in a hypoxic tent, or you can set your treadmill to 20%. Like, there are so many different ways to train and technology that it kind of levels a playing field where you don't need to be in certain places in order to do well. Heck, just like we talked about with cross country, if you're in a hot, warm climate, you're probably going to do well this weekend. So, newsflash, living in the mountains probably isn't the best.
Yeah, and I mean, it's so weird people keep sticking to this because like Will Murray out of nowhere at Black Canyon and then wins in course record at Javelina before he really officially moved out to Washington too. It's like you can come from anywhere, but it's just being projected on all these shows and media personalities that we continue to throw shade at. But it's just like, why do we ignore the evidence on the contrary side to opinions rather than just acknowledge that maybe not everything is 100% wrong, right, or 100% wrong, that there's so many shades to all of this. And there's been so many good runners from like middle of nowhere, East Coast or Pennsylvania or Virginia, West Virginia. And then up north in Maine, New Hampshire is like so many of these routes are classics, but West Coasters are just so full of themselves. They don't even think about these areas.
Well, and it's like, how many times have you been on the whites? How many times have you been on the AT? And then they're like, oh, I haven't, but it's not
I've
at
heard it's really
5,000
hard.
feet. Why would I bother? And it's like, well, let's see you go out and do it, because good luck. Like, the rocks and the roots, and after being out in Colorado and Utah, oh, those trails are so nice and smooth. Yeah, you're at altitude, but you can adjust to that. But I was just like, I might as well have had a track on some of these mountains. And I'm just like, there's no rock for days. Like, what is this life?
Yeah, you can close your eyes and run some of them, and especially like the Western States course, it's so smooth. It's amazing. There's like I think the biggest issue is like the 4,000 footers list. And it's like, well, in Colorado, we have 14,000 footers. And it's like, well, they're like easier. My legs were cramping up every single night through the whites on the AT because it's so hard and rugged. And I don't know. I wish this whole thing of using the C word community and acting like it's everyone's a community. It's like, well, then you probably should be receptive and invite people from across the entire community globally, or at least start with nationwide rather than just the same echo chamber of Colorado, California, Arizona, which basically feels like it dominates everything.
Yeah, and I mean, that was the whole reason why I was happy to join FKT in the first place because I love Buzz and Peter, but they had a lot of Colorado bias and they would own to it, and it was nice to have them be very open and receptive to me being like, "Hey, let's talk about the Northeast and the Southeast. Like, we have mountains too, and we have pretty gnarly trails and FKTs here that should get some attention." So I appreciate that they were open to that. And as a result, expanding our premier route list and being more inclusive of some pretty gnarly trails that don't always get the attention they deserve. And, is that on us? Like, at least now we're starting a conversation where we should discuss this, like, not the same old, same old. Like, there are plenty of other routes that should be discussed.
FKT, whether it intended to or not, has kind of served and turned into this place where whether you're going for an FKT or not, you can find routes all over the world to go after. And I think that's a really cool thing that you can't just find on Strava or something. Is you can find a real route, whether it's backpacking or running or whatever it may be, whatever area you're visiting or something, and you can read a trip report about it or learn more about it. Is it's got this side of it that's a lot deeper than just who are the fastest people of all time. It's like, here is a good illustration of a route you can go out and do and the resources to actually do it. And I don't know if that was what you guys intended, but I've used it to, like, let's go do the Ruby Crest Trail. I'm not going to go for an FKT, but now I can learn everything about it from the resources online.
For sure. I mean, I don't think when Buzz and Peter started this that they thought that FKT was going to turn into what it is. But now that it is, why not make it a go-to resource? And I'm trying to pitch a plan to outside and expanding and making sure that it backs it up to accommodate those people that want to know more and how to search the FKT site and make it more user friendly so that more people want to attempt FKTs.
Yeah, and especially under outside with it integrated and Gaia as well, that there's so many resources and stuff in one place that it's pretty cool starting and knowing about it from the Pro Boards days to seeing what it kind of has become, which is a real usable website. And Pro Boards, you could scroll for days and find so much unique stuff on there.
It's a real site.
Well, that was
Yeah, I
like
know
a
what you
Reddit
mean.
level message board.
I mean, who knows? It could go. I feel like it's like Let's Run. It's like started as a message board and turned into something more like all trails and hopefully more like a backpack user friendly guide.
Yeah, I mean, hopefully it's not Let's Run, but we'll see what it becomes.
Yeah, I definitely don't want our message boards turning into that.
Okay, the next topic that's fun. So, this is the time of year when every pro says they're going to win every race that they're going to sign up for and have the best year and do all these goals. Does that drive you as crazy as it does me? Like, if you say you're going to do this goal and you're pro, I just assume your goal is to do well at it. It's kind of weird to be like, I'm lining up at this race and I'm going to try to win. And it's like, no shit.
I just wonder what else are you intending to do if it's not to win? I just hate that's like when reporters ask athletes, "Hey, is this game a must win?" No, actually, we want to lose the game. Like, we're down 3-0, and if we lose another, we're out. No, I'm really looking forward to losing again. Like, I just maybe they just need to fire their marketing or someone, whoever's telling them to post that, fire them immediately go to ChatGPT and say, hey, what's a more meaningful, engaging post? Like, it's not hard, guys. People are going to read it regardless. Make it more informative content. Some of the people that are listing out like 20 races they're doing, I'm like, how?
Yeah.
Yes, they're probably pros and like their travel and everything's getting paid for, but the recovery and just the mental side of traveling, like how? Like that's what boggles my mind is when someone's like, oh yeah, I've signed up for 10 races. And I'm just like, and it's all over the world. Like it's not just like in their state. Like it'd be one thing if it was like a 5K every week, but these are like 100K, 100 milers. And I'm just like, oof, like how many are you really going to do?
Yeah, I think the pre-race, pre-FKT, pre-adventure interview or soundbite should just die. I think it's so lame and they don't know anything that's going to happen. They don't know any adversity and they're just giving like the perfect case scenario. Like my goal is to go out and win and set a course record, or my goal is to set the FKT on this trail. And it's like, all right, that's it. You have no depth to what you're saying because you have no experience to tie it to, and they all sound the same. It's sort of like the halftime interviews with like a coach in the NFL or a NBA or something where it's like, yeah, they played good. We need to do better on defense. It's like all the things you already know, they're just saying. Pre-race interviews are getting so bad.
And the thing is, no offense to most trail runners, but they're awkward introverts. Like, they're not going to give you a lot of content. And if they are, it's probably cliche AF. And,
Yeah.
you have a few people, like Wamsley's a great interview, and a couple others that are going to be pretty insightful and, like, give you things. But when you're giving them the same question over and over again, oh, are you going to do Western? Oh, what's your goal for Western? Finish last. Like, finish in the golden hour. No, like, no one's going to say that. Like, I really want to have a bad day. Like, oh, I want to bonk at mile 40.
I want to mail myself 2 left shoes. I want to have a box get lost. I want to break a trekking pole, and
Right.
I want to be hallucinating by the end for the last week. Yeah, that's exactly what I would have said in a pre-AT FKT interview.
Right. Let's get a
Yeah.
hurricane to come out, please. Like,
Yeah,
wash
I'd
away the
like
trail.
my entire resupply plan to be messed up for the second half of the trail. Please, that would be awesome. That's what I'm aiming for. In fact, yeah, maybe next time I do something ahead of time, I'm gonna just say stuff like that, like really off the beaten path. Say I wanna bonk really hard and come back so I can find a new depth of my personality. Or okay, I have 2 more topics here. One is, why has everyone started, like even mid-level people started coming out with like a tagline? Like everyone has like I don't know, no limits things, like all starting from the David Goggins things. It seems like everyone is trying to brand themselves even when we don't have space, time, or desire to see mid-level people having a brand on how well they can do endurance. It's driving me crazy. Like these are
Because
just
everyone
athletes.
has a phone and a video or a GoPro and thinks they're bona fide influencers and that they're different than everyone else, and they see what everyone else is doing, and there's so much success because no one, like you said, is transparent about what's really going on. So, hey, let's do this and we'll pay for followers so people think that people are really inspired by what we're
Yep.
doing when we're doing the same thing everyone else is doing. It's just some people are just too busy actually doing the damn thing to, post a selfie saying, hey guys, mile 1, look at me. Like, maybe once again, we're old fashioned or we just enjoy doing the damn thing to post and have to get the validation of doing the damn thing.
Yeah, the line between influencer and athlete has gotten very blurry, where like decent athletes become influencers and get more recognition for being better athletes because they put so much into being an influencer, and it's getting messy.
Oh, it's I I'm trying to think of another word for messy. It's a shit show. And the
It's a shit
fact
show.
that they're getting paid more than most pro athletes and that brands are allocating more resources to influencers over pro athletes is mind boggling. It's not just messy, it's just you really value someone that just started running last week versus someone that's been training their ass off since they were 5. Like, come on. Yes, are they gifted and have a talent or they wouldn't be a pro? But they spend hours on hours working, training, doing it. So, wouldn't you take more, I don't know, emphasis, or I don't even know what the word is, like value their input more than someone that has no clue and will probably switch brands like you talked about next week because they're offering them a better deal or a better promo code, you know?
Yeah, I think we need to have some things like Courtney Olson drops Cam Hanes in a run. Like, let's see some content like that on
Yeah.
what the talent level is at the top end of the sport. And maybe when you're putting in that much and you're that talented, you don't have time to make these long videos or things like that. And I think that's what's lost is like the people who are the best don't have the time to edit and put their stories out there. It's like the brand's job should be to put that out there because they are the ones at the top of the sport inspiring. They know what works because they're proving it. Yet the money goes into people who are talking heads online.
And I just question, I maybe they should have some kind of training on these marketing managers, these VPs of how they're allocating resources, because that's another thing that just drives me crazy. I'm just like, why are they giving this person money to represent the brand when they do not encompass anything or know a single fact about this brand and they're just going to forget about it next week? Like, what is the ROI on this investment versus someone that's been wearing the brand, that is loyal to the brand and advocates for the brand? Like, is brand loyalty dead? And it just is all about who your following is, even though those impressions aren't going to turn into sales. Like, ugh, don't get me started.
You know, the style is like, this brand helped fund this YouTube video, so I'm saying their product's the best, but then the next video next month is a different brand. It's getting really bad on the influencer front because I guess brands value that opinion that's very sub-elite, very mediocre results, but they've got a following.
But I mean, they're just undermining, or not undermining, but do they just think we're all idiots? I mean, let's be
They do.
honest, in the state we
Yeah.
are, like, maybe we are, but that people can't see through the superficial, like, that it's not a real, like, endorsement of the product. They're just getting paid to do it.
Yeah, I mean that's it in a nutshell, and I think we see that across all sports. And when people switch brands this time of year, it's like the new greatest shoe. Last year it wasn't the greatest, but this year that I'm on the team, it's the greatest. And yeah, I don't know. It's getting really messy, and I hope everyone's smart enough to realize that when suddenly the brand or the influencer or the podcaster, whoever, just slyly switches sponsors for a same product category, that it just feels so wrong. And I thought it'd be funny to try to get like all the companies in a certain product category, like all the nutrition brands, to sponsor an episode and do one ad after another for each of them, just to shine light on, I don't know, everyone just is like subtly switching what they're promoting and saying, this is the greatest for my long runs. This is what I always use to fuel. And it was like, but last week you were using that other brand. Like, what changed?
Like,
Was it
what
just a
happened?
dollar,
I
a
thought they
dollar
were the
amount?
best.
Yeah, man. So I hope we figure that out. Last thing, what is the
Well,
update
first,
on?
have
Oh
you
yeah,
seen any notable switches of brands or footwear? I know it's not as big of a year like last year was, but have you seen any notable, like, big news posts?
they haven't come yet, but we do know if you look at Jeff Browning's profile, he's a keen guy.
Yeah, that's very. Have you tried King yet?
No, I have not tried Keen. I know some announcements are coming. It's sort of weird because they do like a thank you post, the athletes do.
Yes.
And then it's like, well, and then it's like, I'll announce more soon. Jen Lichter left North Face. And so something's coming on that front, I assume. But yeah, it's really, really interesting. It's getting crazy too. Like Ryan Montgomery is an agent now. Yeah, I don't know. The sport is really in the weird teenage awkward phase of growing where it doesn't really know what it's going to be and probably going to be over its skis for a couple of years here of thinking there's more money, more sponsorship slots, more everything than there is, but we'll see.
Yeah. I mean, it's like it's turning into a business, but then people are mad because they want it more grassroots and they want it more community based. But it's like you can't have it both ways. And the people that just want to make a quick buck by it, it just drives me crazy because it's like, are you really practicing what you preach? But yeah, I'm just like, it's past January 1st. Can we just make the announcements as a new year? So your contract's probably already started. The embargo's probably over. Like, let's cut to the chase and let's see a race. Like that's another thing that just drives me crazy. Just spill it already. Just tell us.
Yeah. And going back to the influencer thing, I think we should take some of that money that brands are spending or on like weird ads that no one clicks on and put that into like live streams at the good events like a Tunnel Hill or something. I think there's probably only 3 to 5 events that don't have a live stream that really deserve one. And it's like we could probably fund those with some of this like blind money that's flowing to influencers because brands are scared of pissing them off or something. And it's like, I think it would do more for inspiring an entire generation of women or runners in general to see people breaking world records, the 100-mile world record or the American record at the 100K or the 50-mile world record. Like those are the things that people grow up with and are attached to, inspiring them for multiple years, not just the 1 hour they're watching a YouTube video. And I think that really bothered me the most about last year is we didn't get the coverage or the acknowledgement or getting to see that inspiration like we kind of did the year before with Jasmine Paris finishing Barkley. Like that's going to inspire so many people, probably millions. And we just lost those opportunities, even though the opportunities happened and the events happened and the results happened, but they just weren't covered in a way that we could turn that into actually mobilizing people to chase goals or be better or follow their dreams, where we just lost out on that to give influencers money to make videos about finishing 50th and 100. Like no one cares. Show us the people breaking barriers. This episode is also brought to you by CS Coffee, csinstant.coffee, premium instant freeze-dried coffee. Our newest sponsor is Sawyer. You may have heard of the Sawyer Squeeze, which is the most popular filter out on America's long-distance trails for thru hikers, but my favorite product is the sunscreen, the Stay Put sunscreen. You can put it on once and you're protected all day. And I think what people forget is in the winter, especially when you're doing snow sports, you can get more burned than the summer. So get yourself some sunscreen and support our newest sponsor. I literally love this stuff. I'm going to have Allison, my girlfriend Allison, not the one on the podcast today, do a testimonial because she literally bought herself a giant tub of the sunscreen because she loves it so much. So support our sponsors.
And no one will remember like what an influencer finished. Like no one really cares. And they have the memory of a goldfish, but people are going to remember world records and where they were, or how else are they going to if, once again, you don't cover it and you don't have footage and you can't replay it and you can't archive it and you can't replay it over and over and over again and post it and share it and like it and make sure that everyone sees it and reflect back on it so someone wants to know, hey, who did this? Just like when you see Ann Trayson out across the years. Like, let's see footage of her. Maybe there wasn't as much, but it would be nice to have some so people know, hey, who is the GOAT? The GOAT of ultrarunning is Ann Trayson. It's not, the same top 10 list. Like, let's talk more about that than stupid top 10 list.
Yeah, totally agree. It's pretty frustrating that we're letting down some of the best in the sport, both with support and coverage. Yeah, 2025 is the year that we prove that sports media, or at least trail running media, is breakable. It's certainly not unbreakable, too. It's very breakable.
It is very breakable.
What's the deal with Worlds and India and anything before we leave?
So they decided that India was rescheduled. They canceled it. I guess since we last spoke, they canceled it a week before we were supposed to leave because of air quality. Shocker. And the Indian government mandated that all outdoor activity be canceled in November and December. So the IAU decided to reschedule it in mid-March. So and the rest of the team had to cancel all of their flights, travel accommodations, a week before. So you know how
And
great that
you
was.
don't get your
And
money
what
back
else?
from the organization. You're just on the hook.
Correct. Yeah, because once again, no one is paying us to go out there. It's not like it's a all expense paid vacation. Um, after if we had competed, USATF would give us a stipend back of what we spent, but we didn't compete. So we were out all this money, and yeah, it's such a bummer because it's literally a week before. And to try and find another race or anything, it's just such a buzzkill because nothing compares to a world championship. And personally, I didn't want to do another marathon. And it's not like there's a ton of 50Ks that time of the year. So, but they did reschedule it to mid-March, which is terrible timing because it's right in the middle of your building for your spring race. And who knows if the air quality is still going to be okay because, I mean, you look right now, it's still so bad. And do you trust that an organization that is like okay with people competing in that kind of environment is looking out for your health and your best interest? So I actually declined my spot to be on the part 2 of the 50K champs and just focusing on the US 100K championship.
And it's so hard. I remember this with Barkley in 2020. It was like I put so much into it, almost my life on hold, and then it was canceled about 2 weeks before because of COVID and stuff. And it's like even having the mindset to jump back in and train at the same level and build again must have been just like a rough thought as well. Like, because a week to go, you're ready to go. You're all the fitness is in the bag. You're ready to compete, and then to be canceled is, yeah, I can't imagine a worse scenario for that. And to have to want to build yourself up to try the same thing again when the same result could happen a week before, it's not ideal.
No, and it's one of the issues that, how are we supposed to make road ultra running popular and get the same coverage as it does with trail ultras when we can't even get it at nice locations where we have to wear a mask while we're racing and the prep for the race? Like, that's what I was doing to prep myself for running where the air quality was up to 400 parts per million. Like, something doesn't add up when that's your championship environment.
Yeah, they usually talk like over 100 is not good, and
Mm-hmm.
400 is like so bad. That's, yeah. Wow. So how do you qualify for the 100K team? What's the path?
So it's the same as similar to the 50K team. Your top 6 times go qualify for Worlds. Like, they haven't announced where it is. Who knows? We may not have someone that wants to host. It's expensive, and you know it's a tough thing to ask a country, or I don't know how they go about the bids for the host. But if there is a host country, the top 6 fastest 100K times qualify. to represent the U.S. at the World Championships. I have a time from the 2024 100K champs. That was in India as well, but the conditions were slightly better. We still had some issues. There was cars on the course, all these other issues, but it wasn't 400 parts per million. So I have a time from that, but you still want to do better because as we see every year, the competition and times are going down. So I want to make sure that I still have, a fair shot in representing, hopefully, the U.S. again, and hopefully not in a environment where I have to wear a mask.
Yeah, come on, Jamil, use some of that Burrito League money and let's get some real funding for these national teams going.
Yes, all that burrito money.
Yeah. Well, thanks for jumping on. I think we accomplished our goal here.
Yeah. What about you? What's coming up for you in 2026?
I got Cocodona and then got some other things rolling, but gotta keep some things close to the vest.
Wait, you're doing Cocodona? I had no idea. Is this your first time?
No, I think when they announced the date of the race, they also announced that I'm in it. So basically, I just come with the race at this point because every year I do it for some reason. So this year I'm going to try not to have COVID before it and not have an injury. Even if I do, probably still could sneak into the top 10 because worst case scenario, it seems like that's attainable.
Wait, but what are your goals for Cocodona this year?
I'm going to try for second place, and I'd like to bonk halfway and then come back from it. And I'm going to get a selfie stick and a 360 cam and try to make a feature film about pushing limits and how I am amazing at everything and tougher than David Goggins. So that's my goal. Second place is going to be awesome.
Yeah, that's your tagline. Tougher than David Goggins. Let's go.
That's it. All right. I'll let you go. Thanks for jumping on.
My pleasure.
Thank you for listening to the episode. Like, subscribe, join on Patreon if you would like, and a Substack should be coming out. There's so much free outside content. We're going to keep this rolling into the new year, and thank you guys for being here. A lot of good episodes to come, some YouTube, movies, films, little fun quirks are coming too. I've been filming a little bit more. I'd like to get better at that in the new year. And just drop in and leave a comment and say I'm doing a good job, even if I'm not, because my ego is fragile. All right. Thank you. Stay elite, my friends.